Hey, welcome to a brand new edition of The Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray, your host. Glad you're taking the time to be here today with me. If you're watching this show, put in the comments, put in the chat, take a picture of it, take a screenshot of it, do a like, do an emoji, do something. Let me know you're listening. Let me know you're watching. Again, this is The Rundown with Ramon. You're in for a treat today. You're in for a treat today because we're here together, because you're here today. You made the choice to watch The Rundown with Ramon, where we want to give you inspiration, motivation, education, and more to help you live your best life or start or grow your business. So I'm so glad you're here today. We got a lot in store for you today. We got up today why it pays to start companies in a recession. We're going to cover that today. Why it pays to start companies in a recession. We're going to touch on choose to change your thoughts. That's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about how AI can power your business. A lot about AI coming up the next few months. Why you shouldn't leave boomers and Gen X out of your upskilling strategy. We're going to talk about my mom and dad owned competing side-by-side hardware stores. It was a lesson in life. How to recognize money-making trends in the market and boost your profits. Ooh, Jerry Seinfeld's message to Duke graduates: don't forget to laugh. A great sales pitch hinges on the right story and 3 ways to weed out difficult clients. Again, I'm so glad you're here for The Rundown with Ramon. Sit back, get ready for some inspiration as we begin The Rundown with Ramon. All right. Let's get with it today on The Rundown with Ramon. Again, my name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com, started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books here to help you live your best life, start to grow your business. Get to know me better at RamonRay.com. Check us out at zoneofgenius.com. Let's get into The Rundown with Ramon. So why it pays to start companies in a recession. A study suggests that when jobs are hard to come by, the best workers are more available and stay longer. That's the bottom line of it. A recent story writes the Wall Street Journal, a recent study rather suggests the authors found that tech startups that began operations during the 2007-09 recession and received their first patent in that time tended to last longer than tech startups founded a few years before or after. I think that's very telling and very interesting. Sometimes in a downtime, often in a downtime, even though it's not great for many, if you're set up right, if you're set up for the right foundational aspects in your own business, if you have cash accessible to you, you may be able to take advantage of opportunity to be able to hire people you normally couldn't hire in that downtime, maybe even buy a business that you normally couldn't in that downtime. So keep that in mind. Even though it's not a good opportunity for some, it could be a good opportunity to take advantage of in a recession and a downtime to help others. Again, if you've just joined in, welcome. You're in The Rundown with Ramon. Feel free to comment, chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're enjoying The Rundown with Ramon. Ding, 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 ding. Choose to change your thoughts. We hear this quite a bit, writes Michael Doyle in Brains, but I wonder how many of us choose to change our thoughts. Article starts out by saying our thoughts shape our reality, period. Yes, there are other factors like our energy, vibration, beliefs, and our environment that influence what we create. However, everything starts with a thought, writes Michael Doyle in Brains. Much of what we think about and the associated emotions that follow are based largely on the past. In studies of human behavior and our thoughts, there is scientific proof that all thoughts have corresponding neurological and chemicals effects within our bodies. So we can choose to change how we're thinking. We can choose to rewire our brain. John Acuff talks about that in his book, Soundtracks, and I encourage you to do that as well. Do you have challenges with changing your thought patterns? Put that in the comments, put it in the chat, take a screenshot, tell your neighbor, tell a friend. Do you have challenges with your thoughts? What can you do different? And a few things we can change are our beliefs. Starting at birth, we use our thoughts to develop many beliefs. As we grow, we learn, explore, and expand. We create self-awareness and develop our metacognition. So beliefs are an important part that we may have to understand. What beliefs have we had that maybe it's time to change? What about our environment? Our environment, perceptions, and beliefs about ourselves and the world around us set the stage for our habitual thinking, our perspective. Whatever we look for in life, I believe we will find, as they say, our energy flows where our attention goes. What about our actions? It has been said that love and fear are the only two words in the language of the soul. So the point is, our thoughts are highly influenced by our beliefs, your belief, my beliefs, environment, and perspectives. When it comes to the actions we take, they're generated from our thoughts. All our decisions in life comes down to making a choice. If most of your thoughts are not helping you create the life you want, then choose to change your thoughts. Again, my name is Ramon Ray. If you just joined, this is the Rundown with Ramon. I'm so glad you're here today. Feel free to put a comment, put a chat. Let me know you're here as we move along in the Rundown with Ramon. Ding, 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 ding. How AI can power your small business. Yes, we've heard this a lot, and you're going to keep hearing it more and more and more. AI is intrinsically being embedded into much of the technology we're using today and or will be in the future. And I encourage you to get on the bandwagon, writes my friend Reva Lasansky in All Business. AI is growing and it's important. She writes that when artificial intelligence solutions started spreading across American businesses, the nation's larger companies were the first to adopt them, writes Reva Lasansky. That's not surprising, but small and mid-sized businesses hesitated for a variety of reasons. Primarily, they lacked the proper resources, including the budgets to buy what they perceived to be expensive solutions. But AI is increasing. Recent research from Business, the 2024 Small Business Survey, reveals how much the sentiment around AI has shifted from fear to acceptance among both small business owners and employees. So the point is, if you're a small business owner, many of the tools and things you're already using, thank you for that like and thumbs up, many of your tools you're already using are being embedded in many of the applications you're already using, whether it's your Apple iPhone, QuickBooks, Xero, Zoho, the platforms where many of us are using, those tools are already being embedded. And I encourage you even go directly to some of the AI platforms, Claude.ai, ChatGPT, and others, and see how you can use them more in your business. See how you can help them. You find anomalies in data, help you use data better, help you with your marketing, help you with your writing, help in summarizing large amounts of text. There's so many tools you can use, so many ways you can leverage the power of AI for your business. If you're not doing it, you are doing a disservice to yourself. So I encourage you to jump on. It's not just a bandwagon. It's not a fad. AI is here to stay, and it's only going to grow, writes Reva Lasansky in All Business. Moving forward here, ding, 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 ding. Why you shouldn't leave boomers and Gen X out of your upskilling strategy. This is important to keep in mind. Oftentimes we may think because they're old, as it were, that they may not matter so much, or we can leave them out, or we don't have to pay attention to them in our companies. But I'm telling you, writes our friends at Forbes, Deanna Bartoli writes, in an era of seemingly endless change brought on by fast-paced advances in technology and with AI appending entire industries, many employees are reassessing both their education and future career goals in an effort to feel more secure in their jobs. So the admonition, the encouragement in this article is that, hey, your older employees, in fact, skills are a recognized currency across generations. And here's what the article says. When asked if they were interested in developing new skills or pursuing additional education, over half, 58% of boomers, and the majority, 74% of Gen Xers, said that it was a priority. So here's the point. You have those older employees. Don't just try to hire newer people who may have been born with the latest technology. See how you can upskill and reskill your, as it were, older employees. So how can we best support upskilling and reskilling for boomer and Gen Xers, writes the article. One, consider a balanced approach to learning. A balanced approach to learning. Number two, showcase their program's relevance to their current or future position. Next up, ensure their schedules are flexible. There's a lot of things we can do, writes Deanne Bartoli, that will help us retain and keep and uplift our team members or not. This is an interesting article. I read it earlier in the Wall Street Journal. My mom and dad owned competing side-by-side hardware stores. It was a lesson in life. I really enjoyed reading this, and I encourage you to check it out on the Wall Street Journal. It just talked about how two different styles, mom and dad, running their businesses. And of course, the mom is a mom, right? A lady, thinking different, operating totally different than her husband or the man in her life. Men and women think different. We're two different people. So it's interesting how they ran their stores so different and well. He says here, the pace of my mom's store was slower, with the mood set by elevator music playing softly in the background. I was taught to greet customers with, "Can I help you?" and lead them to the merchandise. So it went on like that. But then he says, my dad's store was bigger and busier with a whole different vibe. Most of the customers were on the job men who were typically in a hurry. I knew enough to help them locate what they needed. Two different businesses, both running successfully. Cash or credit? My mom charged higher prices, even when the same thing could be purchased for less money from my dad. She didn't accept credit cards, but it looks like the dad may have. So two stores, the author, the writer, recounts growing up in a hardware store run by their parents. Two different ways to do it. You know the bigger lesson here it shows? That there's multiple ways to do things. Both can be successful. Both can work. And you'll never be somebody else. Thank you for those likes. Thank you for that affirmation. But you can be successful in many different ways. And you can't be me. I can't be you. But we both can build successful businesses. So definitely check this article out in the Wall Street Journal. My mom and dad own competing side-by-side hardware stores. It was a lesson in life. Again, this is the Rundown with Ramon, where we do one thing. We want to help you live your best life or start or grow your business. That's what we do with a little bit of entertainment, education. We hope we're doing that for you today. Thank you for listening to and being a part of the Rundown with Ramon. Feel free to put a comment, put a like, put an emoji, put something. Let me know you're listening to the Rundown with Ramon. Let's keep moving along here. Ding, 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 ding. How to recognize money-making trends in the market and boost your profits, writes our friends at Entrepreneur. How you can do this. I thought this was an interesting article. Trends in the markets are so important. Sometimes we discount them. But I think that if we're looking ahead, if we're looking forward, it will help enhance our businesses. How to recognize money-making trends in the market and boost your profits. Writes Veni Kiriv in Entrepreneur. What is seasonal investing? How does the stock market undergo seasonal change? And is seasonal investing the right way to go? With an ever-changing market always in play, investing is more than just securing capital and throwing it into a project. Having a secure and adaptable investment strategy can help you make a more informed decision. A sound investment strategy will not only help an investor make decisions based on expected returns, but also based on their goals and capital. While holding on to high-quality stocks is a must, it's not the only thing an investor needs to look for. So this aspect of looking at money-making trends in the market and boosting profits is important. Seasonal investing. Understand this. A seasonal business is one where there's a large influx in sales and brand or product demand at specific points of the year. Seasonality and investing. Understanding seasonality is a predictable occurrence of annual events that affect entire industries, stocks, or companies like Christmas, like Mother's Day. So how do you measure seasonality? What's the average return during the period of interest? How reliable is the number expressed compared to profits from the 10 previous periods? How well did the potential investment perform relative to a significant equity index? How do you identify seasonal trades, writes the article? How does the stock market undergo seasonal change, the December effect, the January effect? What are the cons, so not just the pros, of seasonal investing? Point being here, which I think is very interesting, is that understanding and recognizing trends in the market based on seasons can be a smart way to grow your business. This is Ramon Ray, obviously, and you've been listening to The Rundown with Ramon. A great sales pitch hinges on the right story. Are you telling the right story in your business? Are you telling the right story to get the customers that you need to get? This is important, and a great sales pitch can be the way to do that, writes our friends at Harvard Business Review. What not to do. A food and beverage company we worked with wanted to convince a supermarket chain to place its beverage on a more visible shelf. They wanted to convince somebody to do an action. Their sales team told a story about what they considered their product's biggest selling point, a state-of-the-art production process. They explained that having their beverage in a highly visible spot would increase their sales, allowing them to scale distribution and eventually lower the price for customers, making their premium product more accessible. The story was their first mistake, and it's one we see often. The story the sales team told focused entirely on why a better shelf space would benefit the company and their customers. It focused on what they believed to set their product apart, but did little to address or even consider the concerns of the retailer. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're telling your stories, I encourage you, make sure you tell the right story at the right time to the right customer. Again, this is the Rundown with Ramon. So glad you're here today. Moving into something different here, talking about Jerry Seinfeld. Message to Duke graduates. He says, don't forget to laugh. To a divided audience, Seinfeld delivers a much-needed call to action for growth and resilience. I think we are too stuck-up society. The Jerry Field commencement speech at Duke University, some graduates walked out to protest his support for this or that. For those who stayed, he delivered unexpected but timely advice for addressing life's most challenging moments, the indispensable value of humor as a survival tool. And I think I'll just read one part that he said. I only want to help you. The slightly uncomfortable feeling of awkward humor is okay. It's not something you need to fix. I totally admire the ambitions of your generation to create a more just and inclusive society. I think it is also wonderful that you care so much about not hurting other people's feelings in the million and one ways we all do that every second of the day. It's lovely to want to fix those things, but what I need to tell you as a comedian, do not lose your sense of humor. You have no idea at this point in your life how much you're going to need it to get through. Not enough of life makes sense for you to be able to survive it without humor. I encourage you today, don't forget humor. We are too stuck up in society, in my humble opinions at times. And if you want to grow and genuinely make the world a better place, I encourage you not forget about humor. Again, this is the Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray, and I hope you're enjoying this edition of the Rundown with Ramon. I'm telling you, I enjoy delivering it to you. Do a comment, do a share, do a like, do a forward, take a screenshot. Let people know you're watching the Rundown with Ramon as we get ready to close out this edition of the Rundown with Ramon. I encourage you today, last tip, 3 ways to weed out difficult clients, writes Mara Walters and Inc. Attract the right crowd, filter out problem customers, and keep your sanity intact. 1, raise your rates. Those customers that don't want you, if you raise your rates, they won't stay with you. Number 2, run through the contract in detail. Contract can be dry, but don't overlook them. Create and promote an onboarding video. Finally, the onboarding video. This isn't your average YouTube how-to. This is a personalized rundown of how you work. Listen, life is not easy. Life can be full of difficulties and full of problems and full of this, that, and the other. If you're like this information, definitely join me on zoneofgenius.com. Check it out. And I encourage you today to be clear on what you really want to do in life and in business. Ask yourself, do you even want to be in business? This is not Shark Tank. There's no soundtrack. Well, there's a little one playing here right now. There's no commercial break, as it were. It's true life. And this is where I ask you, are you hungry enough to get to where you need to be? Another small tip I give, what are your prices like? Is it premium or is it cheap? What's your pricing like? And finally, ask yourself, look yourself in the proverbial eye as we come to an end of the Rundown with Ramon, but it's not too late for you to leave a comment or two or share or like. What do you do best? What do you do best? What do you enjoy the most that makes you excited to keep going on another day? Today's a brand new day. It's a special day, and I encourage you, let somebody know that they matter. Let somebody know that they care. Let somebody know that you are there for them and they can be there for you. This is indeed the Rundown with Ramon, and I'm so glad you're here today. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on the Rundown with Ramon next time. Be blessed and have an amazing day. Thanks for listening.